The butt.
The button. Okay, here we are. Welcome to Rantzerker number 84, After Show, making sexy crab eyes at me. And we're going to be looking at this needlessly animated brief webcomic / chick tract, because that's really what it is, entitled There's, No I in Sex, Two Simple Things I Wish Someone Told Me as a Teenage Boy. This is why I said there's no I in sex, but there's definitely an I in cringe, because this is fucking cringe. It really is.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's do
dogs! Dogs! Kevin! Leave. Oh my god, leave the other dog alone. God damn it.
All right, Karen.
All right, I'm going to go. I'll go ahead and read it.
She's eating a Kleenex now.
Good lord. Okay. Oh, do you guys want... Let me give you guys a link so you can see this, because you're going to need to be able to see it. So, I'm dropping it in... Oh, shit. We need to go into the...
Rantzerker or Rant Classic After Show.
Chat, Rant, and Classic After Show.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, there's so many.
So I had to find it, that's all. Here's a link to the image so you can see it. It's also in the low bar of the actual YouTube, but... whatever. Okay, so... there's no I in sex. I can't believe I'm writing this. Neither can I. Why are you doing this?
Please don't.
And then again, what?
Well, okay, this is the pencil sword number 35.
Oh,
no
yeah. I
in sex. Simple things I wish someone told me as a teenager. What the fuck is with this laughter in the background?
What in the world is that?
That's my ringtone, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ!
Why not Zoidberg? And I have my headphones in, so I can't hear it.
God, it's just like fucking noise chaos in her house. All right.
All right, moving on.
Dogs!
Karen is doing this on purpose.
Okay, I'm muted.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I can't believe I'm writing this, and then again, I can. Teenage boys and rape culture? I believe it. I went to an all-boys school, Wellington College, and I know this. When it came to women and sex, we were dumb. I'm sure lots of schools are the same. You could call it clueless, or you could call it toxic. Or you might argue it's to be expected. High school is a time of transition, of working out who you are, working out friendships, identity, sexuality, how to be a grown-up. And that might be fine at my school. Instead of admitting we know nothing, we grabbed onto the first version of masculinity we saw and acted like we'd already got it figured out. The culture was competitive, dog eat dog. You mock or you get mocked. And with no women around, a really narrow, monolithic version of how to be a man was all that there was. Rugged was the word when I was there. Staunch, no weaknesses. You know the plan. Go do it. Get rich. Sink piss. I don't know what that means. Score chicks. Dominate. That's page 1. So you can see, I get the impression the guy who made this book, he doesn't know other men as well as he thinks, and he has this extremely negative view. Now, maybe he learned this in college, and this is why he started talking about it in college, or he had resentment towards his peers already. That's sort of the impression that I get, is that there is resentment in what he's writing. And he's basically trying to say, like, when somebody says, when it came to women and sex, we were dumb, you don't know how other men were or what they were thinking. You only know how little you know. So if he didn't know much, which is likely possible because you're a teenager, you're still figuring shit out, you can't go around like painting like everyone around you the same way unless you need to do that so you feel better about yourself. This just stinks of insecurity to me.
Well, not to mention that, like, you only have you and your friend group. Like, chances are good that most of the other groups that you were not associated with were not thinking the exact same way your group was.
Mm-hmm.
And you tend to associate with people that are like you, so...
But of course, we have to go to the worst possible interpretation. Toxic. I mean, I'm not surprised. You're a 17-year-old. You have stupid ideas of how the world works. You think that female 17-year-olds don't... I'm just thinking. Or 27, or 37, or 47, or 57, or 77-year-olds, female 77-year-olds. They don't have stupid ideas of how the world works. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's
you're
retarded.
A kid. Alright.
to ask if he goes to the Conan the Barbarian Academy. Destroy your enemies, see them driven before you, hear the lamentations of their women.
What is good in life, Conan? Destroy your enemies.
Why didn't he have any role models? He went to an all-boys school.
No father.
With no woman around, a really narrow, monolithic view of how to be a man was all there was.
Unless the instructors there were female instructors, it's possible.
How would
It's
women give
somewhat
you
common.
a non-monolithic view of how to be a man? Are the women being men? Are these trans women? Or sorry, trans men? Like, that doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Do women define how? I guess it's because women define how to be a man. So this is a man who thinks that women are a measuring stick to him.
Yes. And that's where I think his resentment comes from too, because he values himself based on women value the way women value him and his peers, but he doesn't actually give women the accountability or the responsibility of that. Instead, he thinks that men are creating this, that they're doing this, and women are just responding to what men do. He has it backwards. Okay,
What does
so
sink piss
Sounds like he had a
I don't
lot
know
of
what
confidence
sink piss
issues, and
means.
he's trying to explain them away.
let's find out. Sink piss. I'm just gonna look.
This is gonna be
Urban
fun.
Dictionary. Pissing in the sink instead of the toilet. Okay. Who the
All
fuck
right,
does
all right.
that?
Well, okay, wait. There's a legitimate reason to do that. Maybe they were really
sorry.
big on home renovation. And they were
Mm.
renovating the toilet. Like, all of these young men were like, you know what? We need really excellent toilets.
I'm gonna go on a limb.
Sink piss.
While we're renovating our toilets, we need to.
I'm gonna
piss
go out
in
on a
the
limb
sink. That's a slang that means
bit
that
of a
we're
stretch.
just putting in a really, really, really good toilet, like one of those butt massaging toilets sort
Yeah.
of thing. You know, like they just really were about the bathroom renos, and that was an allusion to that.
Mm-hmm.
Pinnacle of masculinity right here.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. And so, page 2. And so all these boys, knowing no women, having no experience or knowledge of sex or relationships, head out into the world to prove themselves. For me, it did my head in. And then there's in the image, him as a young man, I guess, is thinking to himself, when am I going to do it? Am I weird? Am I the last one? Me. So he is confessing to his insecurity, which again, for a boy and girls, it is normal when you're a teenager.
To be insecure. What
To
a
be
surprise.
insecure. But the thing is, how you deal with it is actually what's important. Most young people are insecure when they are hitting puberty. There's so much that they're being exposed to, and their body's changing, and everything is just the hormones and all. They don't understand what's happening, and that's when a role model would be probably most useful. But if you respond to that by saying, all these boys know no women and have no experience, then you're basically assuming that they're coping with it as badly as you are, or they better be, because it was really bad for you. And if they're not, then there's something wrong with them. Like what what I did. Well, we'll get to that. You'll see what I mean. But in short, what I'm saying is that this guy is basically, this whole comic is, I'm the good man. I did things right, and that's why I didn't get laid, and that's why I didn't value it too much, and that's why I don't objectify women. And meanwhile, these other guys that were crushing pussy out here, they were wrong. They were bad for it. And so this is a way for me to basically make peace with it, make peace with myself, because I had a hard time when I was younger, or at least I think I did, when it's probably more likely that everybody was having a hard time, and some people got lucky, and some people figured it out, and some people had people in their life to help them through that time. And it wasn't just men. So, and then, next panel. And then, even when we did start having sex, it was all about personal conquest. So see, here's where he basically bitches about other dudes that are doing okay. One guy says, I got a pash. I don't know what a pash is. Other guy says, I got a blowjob, and the last guy's like, I got laid. And of course, he makes him look chatty and, kind of just like Yeah, oh yeah, bro, it's awesome. I'm surprised one of them doesn't have like an upside down sun visor to sort of drive that point home. That
Yeah, let's. Can I insert some other concept? Okay. Let's say that sex is possibly the most most intense way to have a companionable experience.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, all these men are saying, or these young men are saying, I had a companionable experience where a woman validated my sexuality. I had a companionable experience where a woman validated my sexuality. I also had a companionable experience where a woman validated my sexuality. Okay, that's fair enough. Why is it that they're so focused on this idea that they need to get this shit from women in order to be valid human beings? That's my question.
No, well, that's just it. That's what happens when you live in a gynocentric culture, and men basically they equate their personal worth to their success with women. Just getting attention from women. Pash, by the way, means a brief infatuation. So this guy is actually not saying anything too offensive, really. I mean, like, I wouldn't even say that getting laid or getting a blowjob is that bad, but you know, compared to the other two, he's basically saying, I have a girl that I have a crush on. So guys can't even do that now. That's
So
like
toxic.
That's toxic. And look at him. He looks so toxic. He's like, yeah, I got a fucking pash, bro.
I got a crush on a girl. I'm so toxic.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So just cringy. This I hate this
man.
shit.
Men take, like, there's some men who take women are wonderful way too far. This man is one of them. This man is
Are we
like
sure it's a man? Are we
Yeah.
sure?
Yes,
Unless-
because
unless it's a
we
man.
don't. Well, yeah, I mean, like the person who's writing it frames it like he's a man.
Could be a lesbian in disguise.
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe.
continue.
Okay, so
I just
Go.
want to say that the guy on the right looks like PC Principal.
he does, doesn't he?
A little bit like a young PC principal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just before he should have said, "I crushed puss." Next panel. Me. Sex was achievements. And this boy is thinking, as he's having sex with what appears to be a ghost, I'm doing it. Which is obviously, like, he's not even aware of how much men value that. But the reason why is because, well, there's a biological component to it, which I'm sure Karen can go into. But it's like they want to be... they're looking for admiration. They're looking for love from women. They want to be desired.
They're looking for reciprocated desire, and they're looking for validation from a woman. And as far as I'm concerned, if feminists don't want men to, and I don't think men do this, but feminists say they do, if they don't want men to essentially be like, oh, one woman's as good as the next, right? They're all just interchangeable because they're all just like, they all got 3 holes, right?
Right.
Okay.
4 if
they
you're
don't
really
want-
creative.
if we-
No.
Yeah, whatever. Ear, nose, colostomy bag.
Anything's
you know.
a hole if you think about it.
But if they actually didn't want men to think this way, that they believe men think, right? Why do they consider women to be some kind of Borg collective consciousness with a common thread of experiences that, you know, and a single perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because this is not really okay. But here's the thing: they measure themselves by their interactions with women. So they basically see women as a measuring stick, is what she's saying. Me, sex was achievements. So women were measuring sticks to their sexual validity.
I don't think women are I don't think men don't see women as measuring sticks. At least not most men. They see them as sort of that wonderful person who can bestow affirmation on you.
I'm saying this guy is saying that these boys see women as a measuring stick.
Yeah, he's basically treating men that are not him as men that treat women like objects, measuring sticks.
Okay, but
he's basically trying
okay.
to put himself in their heads.
What is this man doing? He's on top of this sort of cardboard cutout shape of a woman.
It's a
right?
ghost.
And he's going, I'm doing it, this blank of a woman, right? How is that any different from Stuart Smiley looking in the mirror going, I'm good enough, I'm nice enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, this is how he gets his value, right? Okay, so when we think of it like that, sex is for ourselves. It's our own pride, our own desires, our own identity. Women are incidental, invisible, or irrelevant. It's a sport, and women are the other team.
They are not. Women are not. Women are crucial to it. Women are
Karen. All right.
No, let Karen say it. Let her say it.
But even going by his idea that men use women as a yardstick to measure their worth, their self-worth, okay? Women are not incidental. They're not invisible, right? They are crucial. They are the crucial...
Well, they use their consent.
Measurement.
They use their consent as a measuring stick. So what does consent to, how deep the interaction a woman consents to with you is a measuring stick of your manhood. But here's the thing: these are teenage boys who are uncertain in their identities. Of course, they're going to cling to odd things or to determine their self-worth. That's what you do when you're a teenager. You are uncertain about your identity, and it's a central self-involved issue when you're a teen, is establishing yourself as an individual, establishing your identity, and understanding yourself.
The way these guys are talking about it in this comic is kind of like the way I would envision like a virgin thinking, like masturbation. Oh, it's like sex, and oh, if I have sex with a woman, and like, oh yeah, she's not. I don't even really care that it's there. Oh, it's just a woman. I'm doing it. It's like that's not actually the way it works when you actually get into that scenario. And I don't think that anybody that gets in that scenario generally sees it that way. It just feels like a very ignorant view of what a sexual relationship is.
Is this guy a virgin? Because like when I was reading through it this afternoon, I actually got the impression that he was a virgin.
Well, I don't know, but I get the impression. Well, like I said before, I get the impression that there is some resentment towards masculinity in general, and I bet it's got to do with the fact that he presumes what other men or young boys, like teenage boys, were going through when they were trying to figure out their sexuality, and they were exploring their sexuality, and they were meeting other girls and going on awkward dates, and like maybe, figuring out their first kiss and all that, these sort of inevitable experiences. And he's basically having a really hard time navigating it, and he presumes that if other guys were successful in some way, they must have done something, like they cheated, or they did something underhanded, or they did something bad because they didn't do what I did, which was probably nothing, which I didn't approach anyone, and I basically, I froze up, or I wasn't able to navigate it very well, or maybe I did, but I was so awkward or confused, or I had struggles because these other men, they couldn't have had problems, and I think it's really annoying because it's very insensitive, and it's not compassionate towards men that are not like him. Like, this guy's an artist, right? He prides himself on his creativity, and I know that as an artist myself, there was a temptation to be critical and to dislike the jocks, or the popular type guys, or the good-looking guys, or the charismatic guys, the ones that are confident and all that.
Look at this.
There's the first. Did you conclude your thought, Brian?
No, I mean, I basically was just going with what Karen said. I think that's where it comes from. He basically has a problem with these men that engage in the behavior that he considers to be toxic, which is basically being competitive, being assertive, being confident, being competent, and having some merit. And I think that it's annoying because he's got a passion that I share, but he's basically got like this twisted idea of what masculinity is, which is why he's basically calling it toxic. So.
Okay, but I just want to draw. Okay, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels of this comic, even including the one that's like him looking in the mirror, right? Because he's got this one where he's sort of doing the lifting weights motion, right? And then the mirror is staring back at him, this hyper masculine image of himself in the same shirt, right?
Yeah.
And then you got him sitting on the bed. When am I going to do it? Am I weird? One, me?
Right.
Right? Okay, and all of his friends got laid. The dude having sex with another chick is not him.
Yep.
With a chick is not him, right? No, I don't know if he's ever had sex.
I understand
Even
that.
the
And the
people that he
woman...
shows- even the people he shows later having sex are not him.
That's true. And the woman who's having sex in this is just like this ghost outline that could just be anyone. It doesn't matter. Like, the woman doesn't matter to him. He's making them invisible because he's putting it all on the men in this. Like, the women don't make choices. They don't want to have sex. They don't have interests. They're not the ones that choose. The men all make this happen. You know?
And he's actually, I mean, what he's doing is, because he didn't put himself in that position, right? He didn't draw himself in that panel, right? He drew some other guy, and obviously some other guy, because, you know, bleach blonde hair rather
freckles,
than, very light blonde hair, and freckles rather than the dark hair. And so it's like, this is what other guys think of women. This is not what I think of women. This is what other guys who actually managed to get laid think of women. And then when he goes on to essentially talk about what is good for, you know, what makes sex good, blah, 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 right? Yeah, okay, he's older now, he's got a beard in the panel, but then he puts a situation where it's not him again. Like, I think this guy's a virgin.
I think I could see that.
I mean, and not even that there's anything wrong with that, but
No,
I mean,
there's
like, if you're
nothing wrong
talking
with it,
about,
but don't.
if
When
you're
you're
talking
a virgin,
about, yeah,
when you're a virgin, you don't get to be everybody's sex therapist.
exactly.
Right. All right, let me move on. We follow... go ahead, Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, he says that it's a sport and women are the other team. This shows he is not a feminist. According to feminism, women are the ball.
Yeah.
Well, no, even the way he's describing it, women wouldn't be they wouldn't be the other team. They would be the goal, right? Or they would be the lines on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other men would be the other team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Much.
But he's saying, he's like, he can't even get his fucking metaphors straight. Probably because he's a fucking virgin.
All right. That's virgin shaming.
No, but I don't have anything against virgins. Just don't act as if you're the authority on how.
Yeah, Karen, you dropped.
Karen
She just
dropped.
cut out.
Could you finish the last two panels?
Yeah, let's do this. We follow the rules like bros before hoes, or treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen, that treat women like a different species. Look at the language we use. Score is a sports term. On the prowl is a hunting term. Wingman is a war term. Women, according to those metaphors, are rivals, enemies, or prey. I'm telling you, that's all bullshit. It's not just dumb, it's destructive. It'll hurt you and it'll hurt others even more.
Okay. I'm gonna have a spiel now. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah. I want to talk to that bros before hoes thing, but go ahead.
Feminists say, they point out the beauty ideal versus the power ideal. But when they look at the beauty ideal, they say that the beauty ideal harms women because they do not have that beauty. They look at the power ideal, but the power ideal is the same as the beauty ideal. It's an ideal because men do not feel like they have that power.
Mm-hmm.
When they're using this language, what I hear is not that they have the power, but that they don't. These boys want to use powerful language because they feel powerless. And the powerful language gives them a sense of power. And what's interesting is that this entire comic is basically that same dynamic, except instead of having power over the women who are determining their identity, the women's consent determines whether or not these boys feel like valid human beings. But instead of using power language they're not against women, but towards the whole process of dating, like these men that he's pointing at, he's actually using the entire construct of victimhood, women's victimhood, to establish a power relationship between him and these other men with him on top. because he is the savior of the women's.
He's the one good man.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and the bros before hoes thing doesn't even, I mean, if they follow rules like bros before hoes, right, then how are they competing with each other to see who can score the most poon?
Exactly. Well, then now in this case, they're treating women as second-class citizens to him. And this dude needs bros before hoes. Because if you had that, you would understand that what it means is women come and go, especially if they're, you know, just while you're still trying to figure out who it is you want to settle down with and spend the rest of your life with, if that's what you want. But your friends, they're with you, you know. Your friends are the you don't essentially bros before hoes means when you get involved with a woman, do not allow yourself to get lost in that relationship to the point where you forget that you had friends that were with you through thick and thin. And this will always keep you centered.
Well, and plus, I mean, like, women also say hoes before bros to mean the same thing. Like, I mean, it's not meant to actually be a bad comment.
No.
It's not saying that all women are hoes. Oh no, it's
so you don't get lost in the relationship. Like, people, you know, when they get caught up in something, they can seriously like change their entire life and wrap it around this new person. And this is something no one should do. Nobody. Unless, you know that they're the one, and then you're willing to make, worthy sort of compromises to make the relationship work. But until that happens, and you're just sort of figuring each other out, and especially when things are starting off, there's always like a strong, you know, infatuation that can actually cloud your judgment. The bros before hoes thing is it's important. Guys have to continue to value themselves when they've gotten involved with a woman. It's so easy to forget that.
Men have a much more difficult time maintaining their friendships after they begin a relationship, and part of the reason is because I think Bill Burr put it beautifully. You know, when I walk into the apartment and my wife, my girl or whatever is sitting there with her female friends, I'm just like, oh, hi, and then I go make myself scarce because, you know, I want them to be able to do their thing, and they aren't going to do their thing with me sitting there listening in, right? But at the same time, if I want to go hang out with my friend, right, she's offended if she can't come along, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's essentially that it's not just that, and it's not just that women often are more likely to demand that men set aside those friendships, those individual friendships, not the sort of the, oh, we're couple friends, right? You know, and the woman has veto power over any couple that you might be friends with usually. But the old friends that you had as a guy, right? She wants you to set that aside and, you know, grow up and be a man and be a husband and, you know, be a responsible adult and leave all that behind, right? It's not just that. It's that men are all too willing to do that, because I think that men actually, because getting relationships is so much more difficult for men than it is for women. They value them more, and they are willing to put more into them, including give up more in order to have them, right? And so I think that, and they invest more emotionally into them, and it's really sad to actually see feminists completely, you know, because men don't express their emotions very often, that they sort of assume that men just don't have them, right? Whereas, you know, like the average time it takes a woman to get over a breakup and start thinking about dating again is 2 weeks. And for men, it's 2 years. You know, I mean, that should be some indication of the relative levels of relationships, don't you think?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, usually, I think, I don't know about men, maybe they do this too, but usually when a woman breaks up with you, she's already done all of the grieving and all of the, you know, preparation and everything well before she actually gave you the words, because she's works herself up to it. And so that by the time she's dumped you, you don't really have a hope of getting her back, because she's already, like, gone through all of that. You know, the post breakup stuff. She just did it before she told you she was breaking up with you.
Yeah.
This is true. I've seen it happen. I mean,
and they already have enough most of the time they already
Yeah, and there's
have
already
a man
there's
lined up.
another guy waiting, exactly, or he's already seeing her. This is very common.
No,
so.
and she's moving herself directly from the house into the new guy's place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so last pay. Oh, Prim or somebody. Go ahead.
I'm just curious. Language is like. I'm curious the score on the
hello?
prowl.
Can I just point something out? Is anybody here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
In his ideology, he's just appointed himself the head walrus, and all of these women that these other guys are having sex with are his women's. So you should. He only has this image of him and his head and his shoulders.
Yeah, he's guarding.
If you panned out, in his mind, you'd have all of those women gathered around naked, saying, "Oh my God, thank you for saving me from those men and their horrible sexuality. I didn't realize how much of a victim I was of them, and how badly I was treated. Oh, save me, oh great walrus! Save me from the horrors of the other walruses." You know, this is this idea that he can claim his legitimate access to their sexuality.
When in reality, he's more likely to be a sneaky fucker.
And he's accusing all the rest of us men of being thieves.
Oh, okay.
He's actually the quintessential nice guy.
Yeah, the bad kind.
Oh, the quote-unquote nice guy?
Not a good guy,
Yeah.
a nice guy. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. 303. And then after that, I think someone else wanted to talk. Definitely not Andrew. So go ahead, Mr. 303, you first.
I found something interesting. He immediately positions women in the victim role, and yet the metaphors that men supposedly use are related to sports, hunting, and war. Why would they do that? Is there any reasoning behind that?
That men would use metaphors of essentially
related to sports, hunting, and war.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why women don't use war metaphor.
It's almost like those are the kinds of things that men do. And it's like the kind of the stuff that usually masculinity is measured by, right?
Yeah,
which is something that women admire.
Women don't use on the prowl. They use I'm going to snare a man, lure a man, right? You know, men.
Well, because when a woman is going after a man, she's not trying to she's not going after, let's say, goes to a place where there's a bunch of men in the hopes that she might bring
them.
and chase them, or in the hopes that she might bring somebody home.
She's going to leave bait, and they're going to come to her.
Yeah. Because they always do. All right.
There's another thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
And women have more of a tendency to want to sleep with their friend's husband than a man. Most men won't sleep with their best friend's wife.
Well, yeah, because a man who's taken by a good friend is a good man. Like, basically, that's like the kind of man she wants. But so that's
but men will try to get a woman like his friend's woman instead of stealing his woman.
You guys are just dropping out continually.
Oh, that's weird. It's not happening for me. I mean,
it's not happening for me either.
Dana's mic is...
Reset your Discord.
Yeah, Dana's mic is a bit loud, but otherwise it's fine. It's staticky. All right, Andrew, I'm going to give you a chance to talk before I continue.
I was curious in other languages, do they use this sort of the score on the prowl wingman, or what's the equivalent?
I don't know.
I guess
that's a good question.
I'm sure they probably do. I'm sure they probably do because, you know, those are highly masculine roles, and sex is a highly, you know, for men, I guess, is a highly masculine activity. And so they're going to relate it to those kinds of things, just like, women would, you know, whisper sweet nothings, you know, because women are sweet and stuff, right? You know, and all of those things, right? I think that essentially, or a woman would charm a man, you know, because women are charming. Oh my God, dog, stop it. And, you know, so essentially, I think that these are just relating the activity of seeking sex with, you know, sort of connecting it to other things that you would normally relate to, like sports, right? Hunting and and
Is your dog
battle.
being killed or something?
No, she's annoyed. She's annoyed because she would not leave old fag alone. New fag wouldn't leave old fag alone, and they were fighting, and so we put new fag in the crate.
Oh,
Okay.
And now she's whining.
poor new
Okay.
fig.
Is it possible that you could make your crate like somewhere besides where you are?
No.
That's like the fucking most annoying sound aside from babies
You think
wailing.
you think you think it's annoying.
Yes, I think it's deeply
You
fucking
got
annoying.
a problem with the dog making whining noises. Yeah, the
Yeah,
dog
well,
that I
okay.
live with 24 hours a day.
Let me ask you, Karen, do you have a problem with your dog making whining noises?
You know, you learn to tune it out.
Well, I haven't learned that skill yet. Let's continue to the next.
All right, last page.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to get married. Well, thanks for permission, bro. And I'm not saying you have to be in love. Thanks again. You just both have to be into it, okay, Master?
And excuse me, you didn't think that they were both into it? Like,
no, they weren't into it before. They were just men were just taking the poon.
Okay, all right. Let me get this out. All right. You're telling me that just because this guy is having sex with this woman, because it's an achievement, automatically she can't be into it herself. Maybe she's thinking it's a fucking achievement in her own mind.
Well, that's another nice guy thing, where you basically think that he doesn't give women any agency. Like they didn't want to have sex with these guys because if they wanted to have sex with guys, they would have had sex with him, because he would have done it right. He would have done it the right way. He would have treated them good. He would have respected them. He would have loved them unconditionally. Yeah, all of that.
Let's be honest. That ghost was totally into it, though.
Yeah, she was. Okay, so then...
Yeah, she's grabbing
you have
him,
to
for
be into
fuck's
it.
sake.
When you respect them and they trust you, that's when sex gets good. I promise you, sex is better when you share. So he knows how bad. So he knows how bad other men's sexual experiences are. He knows how bad it is somehow, and he knows that what I guess the sex that he's getting is better than theirs. He knows that because he did it the right way and they did it the wrong way. This is what I'm talking about. This is just coming across as petty, childish, and jealous, and it doesn't make sense, dude. Like your happiness is not depend on someone else's achievements. Just do you, bro.
Okay, can I just... I want to say this. Not only is he's presuming about these men, but also no charity. Like, these are boys. Of course the biggest thing on their mind is going to be their identities. They're trying to establish them. So what if it was different? Like, if this guy's thoughts were, wow, this feels really great, this feels good, is that superior to this belief that this has something to do with his identity?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, Vahin. Sorry. Is that how you pronounce your name?
He sounds like
Mr. 0303, sorry.
I just wanted to say that last line, sex is better when you share, is a kind of a classic cuck sign.
Yeah. Okay, and then in the panel, though, there's a boy and a girl. They appear to be meeting in some kind of social environment, and he's like, "You want to do this?" And she's like, "I want to do this."
That's so unrealistic.
Exactly.
Like that's just like, what the fuck? That's not no.
Just finish it off.
He's just asking for consent, guys. If you don't know what that is, then clearly you're rapists.
Oh, fuck affirmative consent.
So.
The whole concept that's being
Does
pushed.
he not think that the other sexual activities, like, the thing is that once you've established more of your identity, yeah, you can get into it more just for the the companionship and the pleasure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that teenage boys and girls are concerned about how their sexual behavior reflects on their identity, how is this, one, toxic, and two, how is this saying that, like, in any way somehow obvious? And why are these eyes constantly blinking? It is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, no, I don't. Why do they need to be blinking?
They're animating it. It's animated.
The worst part is that they animated the eyes in the actual sex panel, and they're not moving otherwise. So she's just like staring or blinking at him.
That's why. That's for the.
I'm surprised that we didn't touch on slut shaming and all this.
Brian.
This.
Okay, let me read that panel. So relax, enjoy it. You can drop the stress and pressure and just be yourself. Not because I know what you guys are going through. I know your stress and pressure. I know that what you're doing is hard work. No, dude, stop.
Well,
and
yeah,
over.
If they're kids, they will eventually learn to just relax and not concern everything back to their identity. Okay, go ahead.
And over time, you'll find out that the monolithic version of what a man is supposed to be is bullshit. Being thoughtful or being curious or being empathetic or different, none of those are weaknesses. I promise. Okay. Because none of those men have those traits. They don't. Only this guy has them. He knows what it is. He knows what that means.
Well, maybe he's talking to other men who are or other young boys who were awkward.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think he's passing along his sexual wisdom, the guru of Poon. But I also want to point out that in the previous page, when he's sort of giving us the negative version of sex, the man is on top. And in the right way to do it, the woman is on top. So I don't know if that's like a subtle sort of, women should be on top. Let them drive.
A subtle hint applied with a sledgehammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find the eyes like this is where I got the sexy crab eyes.
Yeah. Because then
she has crab eyes.
But crabs don't blink.
I know. Well, originally I didn't think she was blinking because when you look at it. It just has those empty zombie eyes.
Yeah, he's not doing so good with the expressions and stuff. At least though, this guy's progressive because he's banging a woman of color apparently. All right, and then, but that's us versus them. Oh wait, yeah, but that us versus them, different species shit. That's not manly. That's what boys think. There are.
I'm not a boy.
Okay, wait. Okay. There are 1,000 different ways to be a man, but
don't let treating women. One. Yeah.
Not that one. Not that one. That's
true.
not a way to be a man.
I'm not a man, or I'm not a boy. I'm a man. Look at me, ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but it's like, okay, aren't you essentially doing what you're criticizing people for doing, which is defining manhood via certain parameters?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Exactly. Right. He's taken women as a victim object and measuring stick and put them into, as a sex object measuring stick, and put them into a victim object measuring stick category.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! What a fucking! It's like. So he has such contempt. He's also having contempt for the way he was, I think. Because. I think
but look at how he's distanced himself from everything. From all of the actual sex that's going on in this cartoon. None of it's him.
Yeah.
In the last panel, it's a different guy unless if he dyed his hair.
No. It's a different guy.
It's
different face,
different nose.
Yeah. When he draws himself, he's very specific on he puts these 2 birthmarks on the face, and it's very specific. So. Yeah. Even though his characters are just weird looking in terms of his art style, he does put in the effort to make all the characters look different. So,
and the fucking blinking eyes.
No, this isn't him. And
that's how you animate.
He invites this analysis of his personal motives. I'm sorry, guy. Normally I'd be like, you know what, this is sort of. But if you're gonna analyze other people's motives. If you're gonna put the situation into that sphere, then just expect that you're gonna get it back, and you may find people who are better at it than you are, because what you've done is you've taken women as sexual measuring sticks and you've turned them into victim measuring sticks, because you didn't manage to make it as in terms of measuring yourself based on being able to have access to women's sexuality, so instead you turn them into fucking victims. There's no indication that in any of these scenarios where the guy has a crush or a blowjob or got laid, that it wasn't consensual. And what do you think the girl was thinking? She was probably also thinking, oh, how does this affect my social standing? Because you're a teenager.
Yeah.
This guy should go back to illustrating those biblical comics that would tell you whether or not, that you were going to go to hell unless you gave up your heart to Jesus Christ. The ones that end up in those little booklets, He should go back to doing those. If you're gonna spit essentially dogma all over the place. You might as well do it where it might do the most good. All right, I'm done.
I can't even. I can't even.
Wow, just wow.
Yeah,
Well,
wow.
Facepalm.
Is it me, or do you guys think he was raised by a single mother? No father in his life.
Well,
That's a highly likely scenario.
Yeah.
just statistically
yeah, you
speaking, it's pretty likely.
You can
Well,
kind of
just-
tell in the way he's
Or-
talking about manhood and how, oh yeah, I'm not like those guys and I'm so much better than them, and don't be like them. Don't let treating women like shit be one of those ways to be a man, because clearly that's what all those other guys do. Because for some reason I have some keen insight into what these other guys think about women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think differently, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
like that one guy saying, "Oh yeah, I got laid." Like maybe he was saying, "I got laid with a woman that I am extremely in love with." So you don't know.
Yeah. He
It's
doesn't.
very
Everything is
terse.
presumed. And it's presumed, and there's no sense of sympathy for the fact that these are teenagers. They're going through a period of time which is very uncertain, and they pretty much conflate everything to their identity. It's a matter of course. And they probably, because their identity is so wrapped up in being able to get a woman to consent to them sexually. Notice none of them said, I raped a woman last, no. So their entire identity is wrapped up in getting the woman to consent to them sexually. It's a feeling of powerlessness for them, so they try to use big language to make them feel more powerful. It's all very sympathetic. And he has no sympathy for that. In fact, he's framing it as something even more sinister, ugly, and toxic than it is, in order to create a hierarchy with himself on top. And then the crowning jewel of all of this is him saying there are many ways to be a man, but only one way to be me, and on the top of the manhood pile.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has some issues he needs to work out.
Healer, heal thyself.
Yes.
Yes. All right, are we done?
I think we're done. And
Okay.
my back hurts. I know you want to go get
I
Prada
need to go. Yeah, I have to go meet with a person. So
about a horse.
Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on for this one. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, sure,
That's
Prim.
fine, sure.
And I'm gonna be doing the Pussycat tomorrow, so I want you on for that too. Okay.
Yep, totally.
All right, sweet.
Same time
And
as
I think
you guys.
Karen
Yeah.
might be on too, because you're doing Duluth.
Oh,
Am I
nice.
doing? Are we doing the Duluth thing tomorrow?
Yeah, I asked Hannah if she'd write something up, and she found some interesting information.
Okay.
Oh God, that cancer's.
Is that
That's
a
no,
problem?
no, that's not a problem. We have something to talk about. That's good.
Okay,
Otherwise-
that's on the like normal show.
Yes, it's a normal
tomorrow,
show, except
yeah.
without me.
Oh, without you? Excellent.
Oh,
I'm so
I feel
fucking
loved.
sick of you, Allison. I just like a day without Allison is like a day with